Okay, I think we are live. Yes, we are. We are live, at least on the KW Command Group, so that's perfect. So now I'm going to go ahead. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're watching live, thanks for being here. We're live streaming to multiple channels today, including a Zoom broadcast. So if you'll give me just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and click to allow everybody in on the Zoom. So we're going to go ahead now, and we're going to start that webinar. All right, we are recording. Okay, welcome. Come on in. We are broadcasting live today in multiple places. You should be able to see us today on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Zoom. So let us know, if you will, wherever you're at, find your chat bar or your comment and let me know where you're watching us, what platform you're watching us on. Are you on YouTube? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? All right, so we've got Robert Flynn. Let me go ahead and open here. We've got Robert Flynn from Durham, North Carolina is on from Zoom. We have John Kirstein from Springfield, Illinois. John, what platform are you on? Are you on Zoom today? Okay, so you guys are all coming in on Zoom. Fantastic. I see a lot of new names. For any of you guys that are my first timers, type that in. Let me know that it's your first time here. That helps me to know what we're doing. So for those of you that are catching this live, welcome. For those of you that are catching this on playback, thank you as well. And everybody is completely valued. And my goal here, coming to you for free, is to help show you all of the amazing things that KW Command can do. So if you're watching this from another channel and you're not a KW agent, this video actually isn't going to be super beneficial unless you're interested in joining KW and you're curious, and then you're taking a peek. This is one of the few videos, one of the few niche things that I teach that is very niche focused, and we're gonna hold on, I just turned my video on. This is going to be all about the KW Command technology. So for Keller Williams agents specifically, but anybody else is of course welcome to watch. All right, so Angela, welcome from Ontario. Okay, so Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Jeff to you guys really quick. So for those of you that don't know, Jeff Helvin is my little brother and my partner in crime. He is an agent on my team. He owns a digital marketing company that I founded, and then actually my two brothers took that over so that I could spend all of my time in content creation and they could spend their time in helping agents on the service side of things. Jeff, come on in and introduce yourself.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Excited to be here. I am on multiple channels, so I'm watching the couple of the YouTube channels and social media channel, as well as the chat on Zoom. So if I take a moment to respond to you, Lori, or anybody else in there, it's probably because I'm switching between them. So we'll see how that all plays out for us.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. I don't see our live stream, unfortunately. Oh, yes, I do. We made it to Facebook.
Yep, I see it on Facebook.
Oh, I can see their comments. Virginia Beach. We have Charlene McCabe. We have Dennis, Denise Gifford. Hi, Denise from Cincinnati, Ohio. We've got, okay, perfect. So that's fantastic. Okay, so Jeff is going to be here to try to help answer any questions you guys have. What we have found in the past, and especially when we're live streaming, we have found that a lot of you guys start to have questions as I start to teach and talk and explain. And rather than stopping and addressing each one, it helps me stay in the flow with Jeff hops in and gives you a quick answer or something. That being said, and it gives you a complete answer. If Jeff believes that your question is also something that everybody probably would want to know, he may stop me and say, hey, Laura, I've got a great question here that everybody might benefit from. So he'll help you directly if possible. But if you have follow-up questions after the fact, Jeff, are you able to type into the chat your contact info?
Yep, you bet.
For everybody. So Jeff's company is called Ballen Brands, and you can find them at Ballen KWBrands.com. He's going to put the chat out for you, for those of you that are in the Zoom. Okay. And then you can look that up and you can connect with them directly. And Jeff and Paul actually provide services for KW Command. So they build your website, they help with your database integrations, integrate your text Twilio, auto campaigns. They have pre-built smart plans that you can buy that are tested and measured with my team. They're your go-to for all things KW Command that you need some service help with. So I'm the teacher, they're the servicer. Okay. Fantastic.
And if anybody also on the Zoom call, anybody who is chatting, if you could change your chat to go to everyone. By default, I think it goes to hosts and panelists or something, but we want to make sure everybody can see your questions. So please change that little to drop down to everyone.
Fantastic. And if you do call Jeff and Paul, you'll probably talk to Paul, my other brother, who's also on here today. So they're both there to help you guys. Okay. So I'm going to start with, we're really going to pretty much spend an hour today. Okay. And my goal for this, my goal is to see if there's enough interest to make this a series for you guys where we come on and teach. Today I'm going to introduce the 99 things to do with KW Command spreadsheet. Okay. So I sat down and made a list of 99 things you can do with KW Command that have nothing to do with transactions. So nothing to do with making offers, transactions, everybody's teaching that. I went into all the marketing elements and looked at what are the 99 things we can do with KW Command that can actually generate us business. Everything from Facebook ads to smart plans to email blasts, sending video. There might be a couple little things that would have to do with contacts, because I believe managing your contacts is also a marketing element, really. And then what I'm thinking is we could take, excuse me, dry throat this morning. We could take each one of those and do them individually. Like today, let's take number 5 on the list, and I'll show you guys all how to do that. So what I'm looking for today is your feedback. Do you like it? Is this useful for you? How else would you want to learn? But we're going to first start with the spreadsheet so I can show you how it works, because the feedback I got from you guys in my Facebook group, and if you're not in the Facebook group, it's, what is the name of the Facebook group? KW Command with Lori Ballen. It is through. All right, Jeff might have to look that up and tell us, because I can't do 2 things at once. I'm looking for the name of the Facebook group, Jeff, just so they can jump in and join us. I think it's KW Command with Lori Ballen, but that might be the business page. So the response in the Facebook group was that you guys really wanted a place to go, maybe watch a video and visit a written resource. Not everybody wanted to jump on webinars all the time. So if there's not a demand for the webinars or live streams, we won't do them. You guys can just kind of give me feedback on that. Okay. All right. Robert says it's KW Command with Lori Ballen. Okay. Yes. And then Jeff just put the link out there, so I had it right. Thank you both. Fantastic. Okay. Sebastian asked how long today's training is. We're just going to be here for an hour. I'm just really introducing the spreadsheet, kind of giving a quick glance of where we're going with this. And if we have time, maybe pop in one of the strategies from our list. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and go to, I'm going to share the screen so that we can look first at the spreadsheet, and I'm going to send you guys out the link to the spreadsheet. Okay. So let me go ahead and do the share screen. Okay. Jeff, do we have, you guys, can you see my screen? What are we looking at? We should be looking at my spreadsheet now. I just,
yep, looking at the spreadsheet. All good.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Okay. So let me first, I have a special link I want to send out, and it is, rather than just the spreadsheet link, I have a special link that I'm actually using to track visits. So here's what I'm doing so that you guys know what I mean by when I say track. Well, let me see if that works. Did that go out to everybody? I think it did. Okay. So I just sent out the link to those of you that are on Zoom. If you're watching this from YouTube or Facebook and need the link, just post on there, need the link, and I'll put it on there after the fact, okay, for you guys if you don't already have it. So my goal with tracking, I actually created custom links for the spreadsheet and then for many of the written resources. And the reason why is I'm looking to see what you guys are interested in, what you click on. So if I see there, everybody's clicking on smart plans throughout the spreadsheet, then I'll know that you guys want a bunch more training on smart plans without you telling me that. So that's what my goal is for this. And I can see you guys all piling on now. So that's fantastic. Let's see if you can multitask and watch me and the spreadsheet at the same time, right? So here's what it looks like. We all have access to this Google Sheet, okay? I did not make the Google Sheet editable where all of you guys can edit it because we'd lose all the content on the spreadsheet. However, it is downloadable. So you can take this spreadsheet, you can download it, you can use it in your own Excel or Google Sheets or numbers or whatever spreadsheet system you're using, Smartsheet, you can put it all in there. It won't automatically update though. It'll be your copy that you're downloading, okay? If there's enough demand, remember, I'm doing this for free. There's no charge for this. So I want to see if it's even used. If there's enough demand and you guys are using this, then Jeff and I are going to come in here and start updating, adding more things to do, adding updated YouTube videos as things change, because KW Command, of course, is still rolling out all, so many new things that there will be a bunch more things. So I started it. I haven't completed it. So I did leave an option in here for you to leave comments. So if you know how to do comments on Google Sheets, you can leave a comment on our shared sheet. Now, somebody asked me, Sebastian says you can make a copy, right? So you can download it, you can make a copy of it. And again, I'm going to paste that link one more time for those of you that just got on. There we go. So, and then we'll see what it turns into. Now, I've created all kinds of courses on course platforms. And in my experience, we all tend to say, I want that, but very few people actually go in and get it. Once and I sell my courses, so they pay for it and then rarely log back in to actually do anything with it. And that's just because everybody's busy and they're out there trying to be a real estate agent, not a technology specialist. So it's understandable. So I'm looking to see how much we engage with this and what's valuable before I make it any bigger than that. Okay. All right. So most people are telling me they didn't even know that KW Command could do 99 things outside of transactions. So the list itself, whether or not you use anything else, is a checklist. And I even put a little spot on the left-hand side where you can like put a check in there or put an X in here. You could give it to your admin if you have an admin and say, I want you to go take all of Lori's 99 things and I want you to do every one of them so that we know how to do this. Okay. Or if you don't have an admin, then you can, and you do this yourself, you can go in and just create a little checklist off of it. Okay. The last time I did this, I put it in an ebook format. So let's just see where we all go with it and what the demand is. So the first item is the actual thing that KW Command does. The second column is a video that either Jeff or I made, because Jeff's an agent too. So he works on KW Command, he's Keller Williams agent, and he owns a marketing company that provides services for Keller Williams agents called Ballen brand. So he is an expert on the topic because he's doing both things. Okay. I'm an agent. I'm not actually active with clients myself. I spend all of my time in marketing. That's what I do. I'm the lead generator. Okay, so I'll spend a lot of time in here on the marketing component. So you'll see the differences in our videos and how we're doing that. Okay, so all of these YouTube videos are going to lead you to either Jeff or my YouTube channel for you to watch a video. And then on the right-hand side, these links, I'm going to open one, actually go to the KW Command website. So I did not create these resources. I'm just providing you the link to the resource. And the reason why when I started to do this, I said, let me go make a page on my own website for every one of these tutorials. And then I thought, why do that? If KW Command is providing us excellent written documentation, I mean, I've used their written documentation a bunch of times to learn how to do something. They have video, they have written documentation, and then at the bottom, there's a link to the other topics that would be related to this one if you wanted to learn more and how to get to it. Plus down here, you have the support icon on the right-hand side, which will help you do more research or contact them directly. So I actually felt like putting a link into their resource made a lot of sense. So I would be more of the YouTube tutorials, and we're going to let them be more of the written guide tutorials. Okay. So tell me where you guys are so far. Are you liking this? Does this make sense? Does this look like it's going to be helpful for you? Just a little check-in, 15 minutes in. What questions do you have related to the spreadsheet? Because I think what we'll do, since we have time, is I would like to go ahead and maybe show you a strategy while we're on here and give you something you can walk away with today. Okay, great. Everybody seems excited about it. You understand how to download it. Okay. Somebody asked me, how will they know when I update the sheet? And I got to wait and see if we all use it, and we could create a Facebook group, or I could email or text you guys all out that there's been an update. Let's just see what everybody does with it and what the demand is. Okay. I can see if you guys are using it up here. I can tell right now as we're talking, there's 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 people on the spreadsheet. But I've logged in yesterday, nobody was on there. And yesterday morning, there were 3 people on there. So I just kind of want to see what it looks like before I overinvest, since it is free. Okay. Before I pick a strategy, and we really could just go with number 1, because number 1 is actually one of my favorites. And in the discussion of creating a smart plan, there's been some new changes, very exciting changes that KW Command has put out that have to do with triggering automation on the smart plan. So if you guys want to walk through creating a custom smart plan, Jeff?
One thing too, right before we jump into that, another way to help get more people invested and to encourage us to do more updates to the sheet, obviously would be to share, right? So which link would be the best one for them to share? The same one that you just put in the Zoom?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so share it with your leadership, share it with, your teammates, share it with everybody. You get more people invested in this. Obviously, more people will be logging in on a regular basis. Then, the more motivation, of course, for us all to keep doing more and helping each other out.
Yes. And Jeff, thank you, Jeff. Great point. And Jeff and I talked about the fact that we actually travel and teach in market centers. Now, we were doing that quite actively pre the world episode where we all ended up staying at home. And I'm avoiding certain words for the YouTube algorithm. But anyway, so we're all, once we all started working at home, we stopped traveling. But this could actually be a really cool market center class. So if it's something that interests you and you want to see this come out to your market center, this could be something that we come out for a day or two and introduce a certain number of strategies at a time, obviously, because there's a lot here. So, all right. So is everybody interested in me just taking this number 1? We'll just go straight to the custom smart plan. I didn't really see any feedback on that. So we'll just go right into that. Okay, sounds good. Everybody's saying, yep, yep, yep. All right. Jeff, I'm going to ask you, if you wouldn't mind, to jump in and add any comments about team functions. Okay. So just to let you guys all know, Jeff really kind of serves as the operations manager for my real estate team too. So I'm not in there really setting much up for teams and the different lead routing and whatnot. So Jeff will say, hey, this is how you can do smart plans for teams or something along those lines.
Yeah. And actually, when you pull it up, I can do just a little intro, before you start it with just that one distinction right now and where teams,
okay, so
relate.
Let's do that now. I just pulled up my screen.
Perfect. All right. So what we need to know about teams and not teams is that if we go into smart plans.
Do you want me to go there first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go into smart plans. you're going to see on the top right now, it says Lori Ballen. Okay, that means that she's in the Lori Ballen, her personal command interface. Now she can select Lori Ballen team, and you'll actually see that a different list of smart plans shows up because the team has a set of smart plans, and then her personally can also have a set of smart plans. So if you know out of the gate that you're going to be doing this as a team, you're going to want to create the smart plans while you have that team selected in the top right. Because if you create it in your own personal account and you expect your team members to be able to use it, they will not have access to it. So that's that little caveat. And then part 2 to that is that the contact itself that you're managing, if it's a team owned contact, then you have access to this team smart plans. If it's a personally owned contact in the system, then you would need to use your own. So in some cases, you actually need to have the same smart plan in both your personal and your team account if you manage your contacts not all the same way, either all team or all personal.
Perfect. Before Jeff goes away or goes in the background, is anybody in here on a team or an admin for a team or a rainmaker for a team, or are we dealing today with more individual agents? Oh, right out of the gate. Yes, on a team. Couple raise their hands, admin on a team. So this is important, Jeff. There is a lot. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So
if there's any questions, guys, on that, it does get a little, who owns it and why can't my team member see this and whatever. Just let's do that one-on-one. Just shoot me an email. I'll help you get it sorted out. I know it's a little confusing to start, but once you kind of get the logistics of how it all connects, it makes a lot of sense and it's very easy to use.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. So Jeff said you can contact him one-on-one if you have questions about how to set this up as a team. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take us right into now creating the smart plan. And if another team thing comes up at all while I'm building, then Jeff will jump in there. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do, see right now I'm under teams, and you can see here we have a button that calls that says create team smart plan. If I was under my own account and I go to create, now I'm just creating a smart plan for myself. That being said, Jeff, let me ask you if you know the answer to this. Smart plans are shareable. So we can upload our own smart plans into the library, or we can download a smart plan from the library. Could our teammates download our smart plan? They're shareable.
Yes.
So if I create it by mistake in my own account, we can end up putting it in the team account.
Yes. And I believe they just launched, I'm going to look at it again when I jump off, but yeah, if you share it to the public library, technically all agents across the nation have access to it while it's in the library. So you can share it, put it on your team members, and then take it off if you don't want that to be in the public library. And then I believe they either just did or they're going to release the option where you can actually just share it with team members directly.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I saw the copy option, but I was like, there's got to be a button to share to team, but I don't.
Under the 3 dots, does it not give us that option?
I got copy, publish to library, and delete. So if you copy it, it just copies it in your own account.
Yeah.
And if
so that's not available yet. It's been discussed to make that available so you can more share just to your team as opposed to the whole KW.
Yeah, but it looks like publish to the library, shares to I was looking to see if they gave us an option here maybe that has just a team, but I don't see it right now.
Nope, not yet.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So let's go ahead and go to create a smart plan. And now you're going to give your smart plan a name. So let's just make up that we're going to do maybe a keep in touch holiday smart or keep in touch monthly smart plan. Okay. So it's going to be seasonal. You might put holiday stuff in there. You might talk about back to school. I don't know. I'm just making things up. Did Susan have a question? And I'm going to type in, I just saw a hand raise. I'm going to go ahead and type in monthly check-in. Okay. Now today, I'm not going to show you the library where you can download smart plans. we're just going to create a custom one. But I do want to let you know that Jeff and Paul at Ballen Brands actually have a purchasable smart plan that is based on what we've done for our team. So it's a buyer arrival smart plan, a buyer revival smart plan, and a buyer revival smart plan. So the first smart plan kicks in when you get a buyer lead, and it works to get the buyer communicating. The buyer survival plan is something more like this. It's checks and balances along the way, trying to just keep in contact with that buyer. And a revival is when we haven't heard from them. They disappeared. We were in contact, they disappeared, or whatever. We need to do a last minute just blast to try to get them in. And then they also have a seller arrival, seller revival, seller survival, plus an SOI, an open house, a birthday. What else, Jeff?
Well, the birthday one, we still use the KW one because they can't.
Okay.
But and a sphere of an ask for testimonials, reviews as well.
Ask for testimonial reviews. Yes, and one of the items on, actually two of the items on this checklist. One is, did you know you can build a testimonial landing page to collect testimonials? That's one. And then two, you can use those collected testimonials to display them on a page. So we'll be covering that in the series, but that's, Jeff has a smart plan that they check in for those testimonials as well. Okay, so I'm just going to title this monthly check-in, and we're going to click apply. Okay, now when you first see this, it can look a little overwhelming, because if you've never used a drag and drop builder, it might just look a little bit foreign. So you getting to watch me just kind of move things around a little bit could create a light bulb right there when you actually go in to click this. Okay, so on the right hand side, it's already changed. It looks different. They're, how they're setting up everything. It looks different than a video you might have watched me do 3 months ago, because it's a software that's still being built. Okay, on the right hand side, these are the actions that we can use in our smart plan. Okay, and they're going to be consecutive. Okay, so we're going to select that our smart plan starts and this happens, and then there's a certain amount of time that goes by, and then this happens. And there's a certain amount of time that goes by, and then this happens. So these are all your actions. So where I say, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens, those are called actions. Okay. The trigger is what actually starts the smart plan. The trigger is like lighting. There's a fire and you've got a match and you light the fire. The trigger is the match. What actually gets that match to start the fire? And it could be a Facebook ad. It could be a group of people you put on a list with tags. So we're going to talk about that a little bit after we create the smart plan. Okay, so these are your actions. So your actions are, you can create a task, so that if you create a task to your smart plan, it's going to create a task for you that winds up on your dashboard. Okay, so if you have a monthly follow-up plan, and each month we're going to send that person some sort of communication that is personal that we're sending. You might also create a task every 3 months on here that says, call them, check in on them. So then you don't have to also put this person on a monthly quarterly call plan. You can actually build it all into one plan if that was of interest to you. Okay, so this one creates a task. The next one does not make a call on your behalf. This is a to-do. It's going to show up and tell you to make a call. So it's technically another task. Okay, I caution you about adding too many tasks and to-dos to your smart plans out of the gate, because I did this when I was first building my smart plan, and I put 300 people on a smart plan. And at some point in there, it triggered a task. And then all of a sudden I had 300 tasks show up in my to-dos, and I don't like to-dos and tasks. And that made me crazy. I don't know if they've given us yet the ability to bulk delete tasks. When I did that, we could only do one. We had to delete each task manually. I don't know if now, I haven't looked recently at tasks, if we can delete the whole thing. But anyway, it's a nightmare. to have all those tasks show up. So I would be careful right out of the gate with doing those until you kind of know how this is all going to flow. Okay. The next item on your list is send an email. And this is what most of your automated contact smart plans will generally include an email and or an SMS text message. Okay. When you're sending the email is going to be sent using the command email if you have set up your command email. And you do that up here. If you go to your name and you go to settings, I'm not going to open all that right now, but if you open settings, it'll actually open all the integration options. And one of those is going to say command email. Just go ahead and click it. You have a large amount, I think it's 5,000 emails a month that are free, that are part of your plan. And if you want to go over that, there is a fee, but it's small. It's very affordable right now. Okay. And thank you. Jeff did check. And yes, we can bulk complete archive or archive tasks. Yay. That was so crazy. So I'm glad that we have the ability to do that. Look, even though people have shied away from using command, it is nice to see the progress in some of the elements that we were frustrated with in the past actually get fixed. I definitely will not say it's a perfect system, but a lot of the elements can be used at a high level. So the SMS text message, you have to activate Twilio. And you do the same thing. You go up here to settings. Now, Jeff, jump in here for me and explain the integrations really quick where teams come into play. So if me, David, you, Krista, Robert, the new guy, I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. What is his name?
Daniel.
Okay. Robert and Daniel, if we're all on the same group smart plan and we're going to send a text, are we able to use a team Twilio account?
So we cannot do that now. What happens is when you have an option to set where these tasks and or texts are coming from or who they're going to. And in the beginning, like it's an overall option in the system, in the settings. And so you choose, it's either the rainmaker or the person who is assigned to the contact.
So you could say all of these text messages are going to go out of Lori's Twilio account.
Correct.
But if David's contact answers that Twilio text, I'm playing this out just so I haven't touched those elements. If David gets a response on the text message, does that text go to David or does it go to me?
No, not unless the settings are set that they're actually coming from David, therefore going back to David as responses.
So are we under the impression that it's still better than to keep smart plans individual per agent if they're going to?
No, because the team smart plan can still be set that if an agent is assigned to manage that lead, that the texts and tasks will come from that agent.
So the key is in the settings in the first place, how it's set, and then it's in making sure the contacts are marked correctly as to who is who that lead belongs to.
And the benefit of working this way also is that as a team, what we do is Lori Ballen nurtures the leads. They're the team's leads as they're being nurtured until they're ready to work with an agent. Then they're assigned to an agent. So in our case, it works out really well because we're able to still nurture the leads on behalf of the team rather than just immediately spreading out all the leads and having, lots of our agents maybe not ready to receive all those texts and everything else. So it works really well as a strategy from a team owner standpoint as well.
So the other option is if we set up lead routing and we route the lead to David.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Then his own smart plan would kick in. So that's the other option. If you don't have an inside sales agent or you don't have an admin working the leads, you can do a round robin with KW Command now. That's on our list too for later.
Yep.
And then that lead will automatically assign to David. Then he could have a smart plan trigger that kicked in his smart plan.
Correct.
But then
it really the only
wouldn't do a smart plan on top.
Yeah, right. And the only gripe or downfall I've heard from team owners and stuff that like to do things a certain way is that there's really no convenient way for the team owner to provide the funding, like to set up the Twilio accounts for each of their team members. Every team member has to have their own Twilio connection. It's not like a shared account. So sometimes that causes a little bit of because the Rainmakers offer that as a service, right? To provide those tools, but they have to be individually attached to each of the agents.
We will say that they're very inexpensive, if that helps. And there's other ways if the team wanted to give that expense back to their agent or something, I'm sure that could be worked out. It's not a perfect scenario with how these third-party integrations are working, but I'm sure that KW Command is working on developing those team structures even.
Yeah, and the team leader can still at least use their own credit card on multiple Twilio connections. It's just a little harder to track, if you have 5 different Twilio subscriptions on your bill and someone on your team left, you wouldn't necessarily know whose it was. So yeah, from a accounting standpoint, it might be a little awkward, but you're right. I mean, that would only cost someone $30 a month at the most, just even for all 5 of their team members. So it's
you could even put an incentive around it. I mean, I'm thinking now as the Rainmaker that's always had teams, you could put an incentive around it and say, okay, whoever closes the most deals this month, I pay your Twilio account, or the person that has the highest commission earnings, or you could do a VIP of the month, which team member is the VIP that contributed the most to the team. All right, your Twilio account's paid for, or anybody who does at least 2 deals a year, your Twilio account's paid for. So that stuff can work that out. Okay. All right. Okay. So there's those major things there. The set delay option is the thing that puts a pause in between actions. Okay. So trigger is the match that starts the campaign. Actions are the to-dos that occur that during the smart plan, and a delay is the pause that's in between the actions. Okay. And we're going to be able to tell it how long we want it to wait. Okay. And then we have the ability, when this is all done, this is amazing. And this is another item on the list. We have the ability, when the smart plan is done, we can either restart it, which is great when you're trying to convert leads that you've never heard from, or you can add them to a new smart plan automatically without touching it. So that's what our buyer arrival, buyer survival, buyer revival does. It's sequential. So they complete this one, then they move over to this one, unless a certain action happens. And then we take them out of that smart plan. They become a customer. They tell us to go away, whatever then it changes. Okay. But and it's like a year plan. So if you wanted this to spin them off somewhere after this is complete, maybe I'll give you an example of where this would come into play. So we're creating a monthly check-in, right? So we're going to do a 1 year, January is this, February is this, March is this. We're not going to lay out each of those days today. I'm going to show you how to put that together. And then next year comes, so we're about to hit January of 2022 now. Let's just say we did this for 2021. Well, honestly, in 2022, I don't want my SOI, Jane Smith, who bought a house from me, to get the exact same email she got from me last January. So now maybe I create a 2022 plan or year 2 plan. So this would be year 1. We create a year 2 plan. Once they complete year 1, they move over to year 2. That's just kind of what's in my head with an example of how else that would actually work. Okay. How are we doing? Is this making sense to everybody? Any questions? Overwhelm? Good. Jeff?
And I was going to add to that too. So the like holiday campaigns are a little complicated right now because we can't do them based on dates yet. But so seasonally, if someone comes in December, they would be on it. You can't set them on month 1, 2, 3, 4.
I forgot about that. I thought we had that.
But what you can do though, just to your point, how we can add them to the next smart plan is you can, if someone comes in March, we can add them to the March monthly plan, which would then automatically put them into April and then May and then June. But if they come in September, we can add them to the September plan, which automatically dumps into the October, November, December.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. So if you created a monthly, like a January, 12 smart plans, basically that all, rotate into the next one, you can start them in the middle somewhere.
So the better way to do this than what I'm going to do for this one is the better way is a monthly check-in that is not directly related to something time sensitive. So it'll be a monthly check-in where we're just mentioning, checking in, how are, ask them a question, how are they in their family, or just maybe a real estate and something. Hey, did you know that most homeowners save X% on, it could be a value. That's really where we could go with this. We could do a 12-month value add campaign where we're going to give tips on keeping their house, not like I'm not spring cleaning tips, but like really cool things. So if you guys, I don't know if Happy Grasshopper is still around, but Happy Grasshopper was one of those softwares that I picked up when I was a young real estate agent. And it sent out these quirky little monthly email touches that were fun to read, little quips. And it worked because it was outside the box, but it was a great little touch. So I'm kind of thinking something like that. I'll give you an example would be smart home tips. Okay. Everybody's just blowing up right now about how smart homes are just going to be the next, like, this is our next wave of adoption is people, new home construction is going to start building in all these smart home features. And I just bought a new house. I have a smart washer and dryer, a smart oven, a smart freezer, and I haven't sat down actually and put any of them together. And I'm a smart user. Like I'm in the top 10% of all Alexa users. Imagine that. That's kind of a weird thing. But anyway, so creating a series about smart home features. How about like anything, the doorbells, the Ring doorbells, those types of things. Everybody's getting into these quick, easy home alarm and installation and smart blind. So you could create a whole 12-month series. It's all based on really cool things you probably didn't know you could do with your smart device, right? It could be 12 months.
So interested in that. I love it. That's a fantastic idea. I would be on that one. So
right?
Put me on it once we make it, right?
I know. I just came up with that. I just came up with that idea. So you feel free to go copy it. I love it. Well, it's because I was watching a thing on SEO and everybody's talking about if you do anything related to house and home, you got to start blogging and making videos about smart devices. So exactly. Okay. So that's the concept. All right. So Jeff's saying we still can't trigger it by calendar date yet. So let's make it not time sensitive on this particular one. Okay. So here's how you put this together. Okay. The first step is going to trigger automatically unless you put a delay in here. When I say automatically though, KW put in some stops to protect us all from that 3 a.m. let's have coffee text message that was going out in the middle of the night. It's really funny. I keep making jokes because I'm in Vegas. I serve the Vegas area and my whole team does. And if you text somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning, let's have coffee in Vegas, that's probably not what you're really calling for, just saying. So I was like, no 3 a.m. let's have coffee text messages. So they put in a stop that basically, I think it's between the hours of Texas time, 11 a.m. Central to 9 p.m. Central or something like that. So it's within reasonable waking hours. They have changed that. So it will not instantly text them. It will, unless you're within those hours. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. But it will send them an email. Okay. So if you want them immediately to get something, let's just go ahead and put that right in there to start off with. So let's just say we want to send them a text. What we would do is we would take this little plus. Oh, I didn't even realize I clicked it. I guess I clicked it. So anywhere you click on here, it's not just the plus sign, it's that whole bar. You click there and it automatically adds the action to your smart plan. Now you're going to notice within that action, there's things to pay attention to and set up. Okay. So the first one, it will tell you if you do not have a way to send text messages, it's going to tell you you don't have a Twilio account activated. You need to go set that up. If you've already set that up, it's just going to say your Twilio account is connected. Okay. We have the ability to send static messages and dynamic messages. And Jeff's a pro at the dynamic message structure, which basically takes a series of text messages that are different and up to 6 text messages. And then it cycles them. So if you did want to loop this plan and start over, if you've done a good job using the dynamic structure, you could loop up to 6 times and each message would be something different. So when I originally said you could just send them off to another smart plan, the alternative is to take the time and build out these dynamic ones that'll change. Then you could have a 6-year plan that doesn't change. Okay, so that's super advanced bells and whistles right there. Most of you will probably just stay with the static when you're first starting out. Okay, I know Jeff's smart plans that he built for our team, the ones that he sells at Ballen Brands, have dynamic text messages, I believe, in that loop as well. Okay, so the next thing you need to know is that you have some mail merge type fields over here on the right-hand side. These are going to allow you to personalize the text message. Okay, so when you're first starting out, you might want to address that person by name. Okay, so you might say something like, hey, and then right here, you can put in a first name. So you'll go to the contact first name and click it, and then it drops it right into the field. And then actually our comma would go after that or before that. I have to see that played out. So I think it would go after that. Hey, Mark. Yeah, there you go. So my suggestion is always send yourself the smart plan before you send it to anybody else, so that you can see how it plays out, but you'll be able to preview it as well. Okay. Then the next thing, you can look at the merge fields and you can say, okay, what else might I use here? So if this is a text message, I'm thinking email, but this is a text message. So you'll say, hey, so-and-so, and then you can go over here to the field and put in the agent first name. Now, Jeff, I would imagine if this is a team smart plan, that it would put in the appropriate agent's name?
Correct. Agent first name would be fed from whoever owns or is assigned to that. I'm sorry, not who owns it, who is assigned to that contact to work.
So again, back to making sure all the leads and contacts are signed correctly is a must to get your smart plan to work correctly.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let's just say our first text is to introduce this campaign. So you might say something, it's a text message. Hey, Mark, it's Lori Ballen. I created a really cool 12-month top tips for using smart devices in your house. Would you like to be included? Okay. Now I'm getting I have a Grammarly extension installed, so it's catching my grammar or spell check, whatever. That's what you're seeing there. That's not a command thing, and it doesn't like. So I created a really cool. Don't even worry about what that's doing, but it's catching I double put the word tip in there twice. There we go. All right, perfect. I need a spell checker because I'm terrible with mistakes on the fly. Okay, would you like to be included? Now, Jeff, answer me this, because I know with our Infusionsoft CRMs that are super advanced stuff that we still use, because we're doing stuff with command, but we still also have some of our own software that we're not quite prepared to get rid of yet because of how they work. With KW Command, do we have the, if Mark is going to answer me now that he does or does not want to be in, do we have the ability we don't have the ability with command to include a yes or no to do any actions yet, right?
Not yet. So far we're not able to do if this, then that type of.
Okay. So right on this one, it's just, he's going to answer us yes or no.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So the idea would be you're going to do it one of two ways. Either this would be the first text. If this is the first text he ever gets from you, he'll automatically get the little disclaimer that says this is being sent, data rates may apply. If you'd rather talk about this rather than text, you can call. There's like a disclaimer message that KW has to put in the first time you ever text somebody. So if this is the first text they ever get, they'll actually get that little piece where they can click stop or say stop and not get it. Otherwise, we would want to assume that they want these, right? We just put them on and they'll just now sequentially get them moving forward.
How would we, so they're going to get this text, and they're also going to get the introduction text.
Yep.
I wonder if the first text would be better saying, hey, it's Lori, just sent you a confirmation text. Could you, I don't know. Correct. I'm thinking outside a little bit.
Yeah, it's an opt-out option. So they don't have to continue, they don't have to respond yes necessarily in order to keep getting them, but they do it, of course, to make sure we're still compliant with everything. As a matter of fact, in our smart plan suite, we can install the first text. We actually do that on purpose, where when we get someone in the system, we actually say, hey, just wanted to make sure you had my number with it, that you can call at any time. So then that way they get that disclaimer right out of the gate, so that when you send them the birthday text, they don't get it for the first time, or some sort of holiday text. So it's a way to kind of.
So have a smart plan. Any contact that gets added to the database automatically gets a text from us saying, hey, it's Lori, just wanted to make sure you had my number, number exactly. In your system.
Yeah. So maybe you trigger the smart plan with a new lead tag, and then every contact has to have that tag applied in order to, get that one out of the way. Yeah,
this is super high level stuff right here. And again, Jeff and Paul can help you with all this. Okay, so just for the sake of time, because we could sit here for another hour for me to detail out each one, let me just show you how this smart plan goes together. Okay, so you set up your first one, and you can read all your little notifications, and then this little arrow here will actually close that window, shrink it down so that you can move on to the next one and still be able to see what everything looks like. And so the second step would be, I also want to send them an email. Do you want to send them an email the same day, or do you want to send them the email the next day? Let's just say you're going to text them day one and you want to wait and email them the next day. So just add a delay right here, set delay, and then you put in here, how many days do you want to wait? So the system's pausing, it waits a day. Now it does the next action. Your next action is you're going to send them an email. So you can click send an email. Now in our series, or if you want to go over to my YouTube channel, look, I've got tons of tutorials on this. You can do so much with this email now, and you actually can drop in designs. So if you go into design and create an HTML email, or an email that's got styling and color and all these things, you actually now can drop that into your email. You could put in a video link if you want to, or you can create a design that actually looks like it has the video in there. I've got a YouTube video called 3 Ways to Send Video in KW Command. So you might want to watch that if that's something that interests you. So we have the simple option, which is just designing in the standard editor using the merge fields, or you can go into designs and drop any email into here, a newsletter format. I've got all kinds of training on that. Okay, so the next step would be your email. That might actually be the best way to create your smart home series. Oh my gosh, big idea. Oh my gosh, I can imagine now using the newsletter template styling that I've taught in here and putting in a video of the tip. And the video doesn't even have to be us. I can teach you how to do that. You can go into YouTube, grab a video that's not you. And there's a license when people upload their videos to YouTube that allow it to be shareable. You just can't change it, alter it. All their credit stays in place. But if there's somebody putting out fantastic tips already on smart homes, why don't we just piggyback on that rather than trying to figure it all out ourselves? We go into YouTube, we grab that tip, like where they compare which smart doorbell is best. This is great for somebody like me. Is it the Ring? Is it the Simply Safe? Is it that whatever, which one of these is best kind of ones, and drop that video into your design, your newsletter design, because you have the ability to do that. And then you put your own little notice on there and branding, and that's it. You don't have to create a bunch of content. You're just going to curate the pieces and put it all together on your smart plan. Jeff, we are totally creating this. I love this idea. Okay. Anybody getting ahas, bells and anything going off? Like, it's fun to actually get to play and see the marketing elements come to life as we're chit-chatting. Okay. All right. So I'm going to shrink this one. Or is anybody overwhelmed already with the steps here? Everybody hanging in there? Okay. Okay, good. Good. Okay, it looks like everybody's getting lots of ideas. Okay, so now we sent the text, we set a delay, we sent an email. Now what do you want to happen next? Let's say we now want to wait for 30 days. We're going to send them smart home tip number 2. So we're going to take set a delay, and we're going to wait 30 days. So you can use the little arrows, or you can just type in 30 days. Now, do you want to send a text and an email, or a text or an email? You could send a text saying, hey, Mike, I just sent you the second tip in the series. Now, my personal opinion, I wouldn't text anybody in this plan. That wouldn't be my style, to text somebody the video. However, there are people, I was going to say the younger generation, but there's also our generation that are texting. There are some people that only text. So you have to build this to your client base.
Yeah, and if you're going to text too, it's almost better to text like a personal, like you personally reach out to them. Hey, just sent you the latest tip. You go check it out. Like, so you don't have to send the tip in the text, but if you're going to text them more as a rapport builder and to keep that personal connection, it's almost like, hey, just sent that next one. But you don't want to say that every month for 12 months either. You don't want to keep
I mean, it could be, you could send a text, say, hey, I just wanted to make sure you see this. And you put the link, because when you actually create the design, there will be a link that you actually could put it in there if you wanted to, or you could just, so there's lots of ways to skin it. But personally, I would find my group, those text messages might be a little off-putting and interruptive.
One other small limitation we have on smart plans still is that we're only allowed to build 90-day smart plans. So if we're going to do a 1-year series, we still have to break it into the 4 quarters.
That's so silly. Okay. So we still have to break it. So we would have to do smart plan 1. Yeah. We'd have to do smart home part 1.
Yeah, like quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. Yeah, exactly.
All right, good to know. Okay.
And then Isabel said, you mentioned about videos being at which videos.
Yeah, so if you go to YouTube, she wants to know, I'm sorry, I cut you off. She wants to know which videos can we share? Okay, so here's one on, there's another topic. See, we could just home improvement. So this one, sorry, that went somewhere. That was an ad. This one is on stud finders. Okay, but let's just say, just pick a video. This one is me. So let's just say we want to share this video. If you go over here and click this share button and you click embed, if there is a code right here, you have permission to share it. You have permission to embed it on your website even. Okay, which is technically what the little YouTube link is going to do anyway. But if this is grayed out and you can't see it, when the person uploaded their YouTube video, they actually manually selected that you can't share it. By default, every YouTube video that is posted publicly is shareable based on YouTube's licenses. You just can't chop it up without there being a creator license, or you can only use so much of it. I'm not going to get into all that because we're not chopping up videos. So what you do is you can go, okay, yes, I see that video. And when I've got a YouTube video that shows you how to do this, but if we continue with the series, we'll do it together. Just click share. There's going to be a link right here. When you create one of those newsletter emails, it's going to ask for that YouTube link. You're going to put that there, and then it's going to automatically pull in a thumbnail. I think it automatically pulls in a thumbnail. I have to go look. We might have to upload a thumbnail. We might have to make our own thumbnail to upload it. We'll talk about that on another series, but you can use this link. This could be, we go up here and we just type in smart home. This is how I would start my plan. We go to smart home. And here, there's everything my smart home can do in 2021. Building the ultimate smart home with Span Smart Panel. Ultimate guide to starting and growing a smart home. That one looks like it would be a good start. I'm going to click there. Okay. Now there's a chance his video has 12 steps that you could actually break up into the 12 months. And I can show you later, you can even share a video based on, well, if you go to share, I don't want to tease, sorry. You can start the video at, let's just say he starts with his second tip at 30 seconds. You can actually change this to 30 seconds. And when you now copy this link, it will start it at the 30-second mark. So you could literally find one great video that has 12 tips, divide that video up into 12 months of tips, and it goes out with your brand and your identity. But the person that created the video still gets all of his credit. He doesn't lose anything. He loves it. He's getting exposure. He's getting people visiting his YouTube channel. If he's got a monetized ad, there's ads playing he gets paid for, or you can create your own. But I do love the ability to curate content if it's not my specialty. I used to be like, I'm not curating content. I'm creating my own. Well, come on. We can't be everywhere, do everything. So I was wrong. Now I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Now I get how to use that. All right. So that's just an example here, Smart Home Solver. You also could reach out to Smart Home Solver and say, hey, I'm doing a tip for my clients, my sphere of influence, by whatever. I've got a mailing list of 1,000 people or 10,000 people or whatever it is. And I loved your video. I'm doing a smart home series. Would you be opposed to me sharing your video out in multiple segments? I'd be happy to include you in my smart plan list if you want to pass it on to your audience. So a lot of times they get really excited about the fact that you're promoting them, and they'll go out and share it to their audience or give you a shout out or something. So however you want to do that, but you actually do have permission. Just, they don't always know that. So you could get an email from somebody that says, hey, I noticed you're using my video. But when they upload it, the shared permission is there. You're not stealing their content. So it's up to you how you want to do that. You definitely could introduce it to them that you'd like to use it. You can do that as well. Okay. Everybody got that? Okay. All right. So let me just, before we go, because we're almost done, and you can wrap this smart plan up and save it. There's a bunch of other steps here around smart plans that are on our list. But one of the ones that we have the ability to do now, and I can't show it to you because of time, so we're going to have to come back to that. But we can now go in and run a Facebook ad, and we can assign a smart plan to launch when that lead comes in. We also can go create a list based on a tag, and we can set up tags that are based on a smart plan, how they work with the smart plan. And you can say, when this Facebook lead comes in, assign this tag. Then with our smart plan, we can click trigger, pick a trigger after we finished it, and we can choose that tag, and now they'll automatically fire. This wasn't there before. So now we literally can create the entire automation process from the minute that lead registers on Facebook to the flow, but you have to set it up correctly. This is where Jeff and Paul come in if you need help with this. I mean, I don't know where their services start and stop, but I know they consult. I know they do free consults, but I know they also could probably charge you for the hour to walk you through how to do it. These are just some things I'm throwing out there. But I subscribe to my channel. Of course, I do walk you through all these steps as well. And so does Jeff. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you think you can handle jumping in here, start playing with it, poke around, but you're going to have to get those tags right if you want to trigger those smart plans by tags. But Facebook, they've given us the option now also to just say, oh, Facebook lead comes in, assign this smart plan. And then you don't have to think about the tag part. So that's another option that they have given you guys. So maybe we'll do that one on our next call where I walk you through more of those trigger automations. Okay, so we're done. Did you guys find that valuable? Is that helpful? Is this something that you would be interested in seeing more training on, more lives on? Or are you just going to use the spreadsheet? Do you want to see this in your market center to do classes? I'm kind of looking for any feedback that you guys want to provide us so that I know if this is valuable for you guys to do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll put this up as a playback and you guys can watch it after the fact. And if you need anything, so everybody's saying more lives. So the lives are helpful to be able to jump on here and do it together, right? That's kind of how I feel too. I think just being able to see it and get the inspiration of, now I get how that works is better when we're live. That's just me, or live in your market center, either way. Okay. All right. Thanks, Jeff, so much for your help. Everybody, thank you. Jeff and I serve the Las Vegas, Henderson, Boulder City, North Las Vegas, Summerlin, the entire Southern Nevada area there in the greater Las Vegas area. We'd absolutely love your referrals. And hopefully we'll see you at Family Reunion in Orlando, Florida. And thanks you guys so much for being here.